Okay. Locally, you may please speak. Sorry, I intentionally muted everybody so that people don't come in and then you're hearing a lot of background noise. You may please speak. All right. Good evening, everyone. It's really great to have you around. And as I promised you guys in the group that we're going to be doing this, I'll just try as much as possible to get right into it without getting distracted. If you have anything you'd like to say, I want to encourage you can just drop it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on the chat so that we can enjoy this as much as possible. Please, you are all automatically muted, so you will not be able to speak until I allow you to. And the reason is there are cases where people enter meetings like this and their microphone is on, and then there will be some distraction. So there's an automatically mute for everybody that is joining right now. Okay, so but if you want to speak, once you indicate that you would like to speak, I will unmute your mic. Alternatively, when we are ready to speak, I will I'll just throw the whole thing open so that everybody can speak. I really don't know how to direct people to see the link to the video at the top. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but let me just quickly type that in the chat so that people will know that they need to click the Map Charts Excel link at the top of the video, the top of the chats for them to access this. In the meantime, let me confirm. Let me just allow you to speak now so that, can you just confirm that you can hear me loud and clear? You may speak.
We can hear you loud and clear. It's clear, very clear.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, let me just awesome. So let me just drop that. Okay, I just dropped it in the group. Okay, great. So now that I can confirm you can hear me, I'm going to automatically mute everybody so that nobody comes in mistakenly and then there's some kind of noise. So what we're going to be doing this evening, I need to share my screen. Where are you? Okay, there you are. Share screen. Okay, so that's my screen that you are seeing right now. So what we're going to be doing this evening, we're going to be looking at Excel, introduction to map charts in Excel, and we'll be able to create these three types of charts this evening. The approach I will take, I'm going to be, I'll do some demonstration, show you how to do these things. And then definitely afterwards, I will share this file with you so that in case you want to practice. To be candid, it's so simple. I mean, it's so simple, you wouldn't even believe it's something that you could have been doing every day. And it doesn't work just for maps in Nigeria. I know some of us might be surprised that you can even do this with maps with states in Nigeria. You can do it with countries of the world and even states in other countries and all of that. But because most of my audience this evening are Nigerians, so I'm going to just stay with data from Nigeria. But as you work with your own data, you can experiment with all kinds of data. Till date, I have not tried this with local government level data, and but for state level data in Nigeria, it's 100% accurate, very, very fantastic. Just that a couple of states that you have to properly name them so that the system will identify them. I'll look at those ones too shortly, and then we'll get into it. Okay, so let me just go straight into the introduction of the map charts. For the introduction, you can find that in this web page. I will share the web page. I will share that screen with you now. Just give me a minute. Let me. Sorry, do you know I actually just don't know how to stop sharing this thing? Okay, fine. I think I just got that. Okay, so I just click the link on my system and it brings me to this. You can search for this on Google, create a map chart in Excel. All right, if you search for this on Google, any of your browsers, it will bring you to this page in Microsoft. And what this is showing you is basically how to create this. I'm going to talk through all of this. So I don't want to write another introduction when the information is already available online. All right, create a map chart with Excel. It shows you how to create geography data types. That's the last thing I'll talk about. It's not going to be the first. And how to create this chart, how to format it, the way you format any of your graphs or any of your charts in Excel normally. And then you have some frequently asked questions. Well, when I create a certain text-based location, I end up with a blank. Why do you have that error? This will also answer for you why you have some of those errors and when you try to create the charts. And then there are cases where you are creating the chart and it's incomplete. All right, so you'll be able to see that. Now, but this is what I really want to talk about before we go deep into this, are the limitations of creating these charts, this type of charts with Excel. The first one is the fact that map charts can only plot high-level geographic details. So latitude, longitude, street address mapping, these ones are not supported. So it can't really give you that fine detail. Like you have a data set with coordinates, GPS coordinates, longitude and latitude. Map charts also support one-dimensional display only. So if you need multi-dimensional display, you can use Excel's 3D map feature. All right, maybe you want to have multiple layers of that. But this evening, I'll just show you how to kind of go around doing more than one dimensional. You could do a little bit of like two-dimensional data types. At least you can do some kind of two-dimensional data types with the map charts. And creating new maps or appending data to existing maps requires an online connection. So this is also a very important thing that you need to understand, that to create a map in Excel, you need an online connection. You must be connected to the internet because those maps are plotted using Bing Map Service. All right. The third thing I also need to mention is existing maps can be viewed without an online connection. All right. So if you already have an existing map, you are not trying to refresh or update it. Let's say you share the work via email or something. Others will still be able to view the map if it's not connected to live data. All right. But if it's connected to live data, sometimes you will see that it's really function well. And I've also observed from experience that when you try to create these maps using older version, when you create a map with a newer version of Excel and you take it to an older version of Excel, sometimes it may not work. And lastly, there's a known issue where the map charts, which makes use of geography data type, can sometimes map incorrectly. So try to include admin fields such as province or country when attempting to plot this until the problem is fixed. All right, so there are cases where you are trying to create a map chart and then it's plotting incorrectly. I will show you an example of that today and how I usually make those corrections. All right, especially when you're trying to do it with geography data type. Okay, so I will show you how do you create a geography data type and how do you fix that error in Excel, because there are cases. If I will show you that, I won't mention now so that I don't confuse you. There are cases where you are trying to plot a map and it doesn't work. I will show you how Excel actually fixes that. Let me go back to all right. So I think I'm just done with the introduction. So I'm going to show you now how do you prepare your data to create this type of charts. The first one here, this type of map. How do you create it? I have it here now. All right. So I'm going to show you how to create this kind of map. And when I'm done with everything, I'll show you an instance of how I actually use this with real data, in the workplace, and how can you prepare your data so that when you're connected to live data that changes often, all right, so that it will really work fine. One of the things I've seen with map data type is the fact that sometimes when the range is dynamic, it also breaks down to just stop working. All right. So, but how can you design it such that it will still work effectively with a dynamic range? All right. So I will show you some of those examples. So let's get into it. So I want to create this type of map right now. Okay. This kind of map chart with, you have these names of the states, and you have certain numbers attached to them, and then they will show on a map like this. Okay, and then when I'm done with that, I'll show you a few characteristics of how this map works. So I'm going to clean everything here and start again from scratch. All right, remove this. Okay, so let me have the states. Let me just have a few states. What I just did now, you may not be able to do on your own computer because I already have this list. This custom list already exists on my own computer. So don't think that when you type RBI, you drag it down and then to give you the list of states in Nigeria. No, it won't. My daily work requires me to work with the list of states in Nigeria. So I had to create a custom list in Excel that I would easily just drag this way, and then it will give me the list of all the states in Nigeria. So I just needed you to know that. So these are the names of the states in Nigeria, like we usually see them. So I'll just create some random numbers, 37 of them. Let's say 100 to 200. Okay, integers. Okay, so I just created some random numbers like this, and I want to plot this on a map in Excel. Did I say 30? Oh, why are they 36? Okay, Zamfara is missing. All right, that's it. Okay, so I have this type of data. It doesn't have to be all the states in Nigeria. It could just be a few of them. I'll show you how that works also. So what do I need to do to plot this in a map chart? Okay, this is states. Let me just call this value. All right, so I will highlight all of them. Okay, highlight all of them, and then come to insert. Then here in the middle you have maps. Okay, maps. You have maps. This maps is different from 3D maps. I'm not showing you 3D maps today. I'm showing you these particular maps under the charts section. Okay, and then you can create it from here. It's also, you can also go to, say, recommended charts, and then you see it's also one of the map types of maps that you can see in insert chart here. Okay, so those are 2 weeks, but that's a shortcut. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Somebody's knocking my door. All right, I'm back. So let me take that again. So once you highlight your data, it's properly arranged this way. Okay, insert, maps, and then hit this, and that's just it. My computer is connected to the internet. I've showed you some of the limitations of creating this map. You have to be connected to the internet. All right, so this is just basically how to create that kind of map. All right, I mean nothing else. And you see it has this information at the bottom saying powered by Bing, copyright geo names, Microsoft TomTom. This will always come with it. If you don't want this to appear in your presentation or something, you can only just insert a shape like this, all right, something like this, and cover it, and then make the shape white, white, and then make the outline also white, and then TomTom is gone. It's there, but nobody will see it. All right, so that's if you don't want people to see that, right? So that's that. And this map also has most of the basic functionalities of the other charts that we create. For instance, you can add the chart title is there, all right? But really, this chart title also is not dynamic like the other system that we have seen. So you have to kind of manually name this, give it a name. Values from states in Nigeria, something like this, all right? And then this also, you can add labels. If I hit on labels, you see all the numbers are showing, all right? The numbers are not showing on the map, okay? But also, you can also do more with the labels, just like you will see in any other chart that you have, but this is not as robust as those ones anyway. I believe Microsoft is still working on this. So I can add series category. Okay, this is just saying series. Okay, let me do something. Let me redo that and highlight from the top so that it will add the proper series name. All right, so it's showing us values now. Okay. So that's the map, and I'm adding labels. So you see all of the labels, the numbers, and you see also this legend going from the least is 100, the highest is 200. So the lighter is closer to 100. You see all these light ones, and then when the hue is dark, all right. So you can see of the intensity. I mean, when the intensity is darker, you can see all of that. Okay, so those are some of the things. And then, of course, you can move the legend to the bottom if you want. You can move the legend to the bottom. You can put it on the left. You can put it on the top. You can put it on the right by default and all of that. And the title, you can make it overlay on the map and so on. So I was talking about the label the other time. You can add the category names. You can see it now shows the names of the states. Okay, and of course, separated with comma. You can also change that to separate with a new line to make it new line. All right, with Sokoto 153, Kebbi this, and so on. Fortunately, because some of the states are so small, the numbers may not show until you put your cursor on them. All right, so or alternatively, if you try to reduce the font size, sometimes that can work. All right, but this would depend on your own skill with working with Excel. All right, so I'll just make that kind of. So only some will show. This Ebonyi 117 Ebonyi is not showing. Rivers is not showing. Lagos hardly shows. All right, so Lagos hardly shows on this map. So, but really, this is how to plot this kind of map. And of course, you have other options at the top here. On chart design, you have a couple of options here. These are all default options anyway. You can change what the chart design looks like. You have this other option, you have this other one. Okay, and then the quick layout is not really too fantastic, but you can always work around this and create your own layout. And the colors, you can change the color. This you have, I'm sure some of the documents you have seen from government, these are one of the colors that you see a lot in maps that people create. Okay. And you have all kinds of color options that you can always play with. So that's basically how to create a map chart in Excel. All right, just have the list of names of the states here, and then you have your data in front of it, arranged this way, and then you create that chart. If you have any comment or any question, please drop it in the chat. We will see it. We will see it, and then we'll respond as we go on. So that's the first example of how to create this kind of chart. The second one I want to quickly show you also is this same chart, but I want to be able to group them this way. I want to be able to group this way. This is the kind of grouping. I have this chart data and I have their population. And I want a situation where I want to be able to group the data and see at a glance where the population is above 5 million. If I click on this legend, all right, I can see everybody above 5 million at a glance, all the blues. All right, I want, less than 5 million, but greater than 2 million. All right, this above 5 million. All right, I just selected all the ones with population above 5 million. And then the ones that are below 2 million, see, we have Abuja, we have Nasarawa, we have Bayelsa, below 2 million. So how do you create this kind of chart? How do you group your data to give you this kind of chart? Let me walk you through that from scratch also. Okay, I'll just remove everything again and start from scratch. All right, so I have my states, I have my group, and I have what I call population. And this way I will introduce you to what we call the geography data type. So I'm starting again the way I did the other time. Like I mentioned, for those of you who were here earlier, if you try that on your computer, it will not work. I created a custom list. That's why I can drag the list of states in Nigeria and it comes out that way for me. All right. I'm sorry, I won't go into how to create a custom list because that's not why we are here today. You can always copy that from Google or wherever you have it and use it. All right. I'm not grouping yet. I'm putting this. So I want the population of all these states in Nigeria. So I can get that also from live data from Bing. Bing also has the data on the populations of this state, but it's kind of old data. And I plan to also write to Microsoft to tell them to kind of update these numbers, because the numbers are way less than what we currently have. But let's just use what the system has. You will learn how to use geography data today, and then you also see some of the other cool stuff you can do with geography data type. All right, data type. So these are the states in Nigeria. All right. Let's say I have, so this is my data. I want to convert it to what we call the geography data type. Okay. So this data, now in this data type section on my screen, I hope you guys can still see my screen. Okay. I think you still can see it. I can see that you can see it. All right. In this group. All right. So this data, I'll come to this section where you have data types, and then I'll select geography. Let me do that again. Here, come here, and I will select geography. Okay, so when you select geography, here, it says convert to geography. Convert cells with country or region or cities like London to get current world statistics like population, area, and more. Okay, so when I'm just doing that for Abia, I'll do it for the others shortly. So when I select geography, see, Abia has been converted immediately to a geography data type. It will now appear this way. See the way it now appears with that card just beside it, all right? It now has that card beside it to say this is not just text, it's a geography data type. Just like one is a number data type and so on. So you have this as a geography data type. There are also other data types, organizational data, for organization, and then stocks, but I'm not going to that. Geography data type. All right, when you click on geography data type, you will see this little icon asking you to insert a particular type of data. When you click on that, you can see some of the information you can insert. Abbreviation, area, major city, region, and so on and so forth. Other things you'll be able to see when you click on this card, it gives you more information about the state, Abia State, major city or capital, Umuahia, all right? Okay, when you click on Umuahia, it gives you more information about Umuahia, okay? It's in Abia State, all right? This is the population in Umuahia, that's as of 2006. This is the latitude, this is longitude, and time zone, and some description about Umuahia, all right? So I'll go back. This Abia State, capital city. This is the governor's information about the governor. Okay, Zekweazu is the governor. All right. If you click on this, it puts the name of the governor. Right. That's not what I want to do right now. So, country. This is a population as of 2006. You agree with me? This is not correct today. This 2006 is a very long time. So, guys, when we talk to Microsoft, please let's tell them to update this thing. It's embarrassing. Okay. Area, abbreviation, largest city, Aba South, West African zone. And then you see, Abia is a state in Southeast. Show just some description about them. And the source of this data is Wikipedia. All right. So that is how you create a geography data type. The other cool thing that you can also do with geography data type, if I say equal to, I click on this cell, all right, and I put a dot behind it. All right, it gives me the opportunity to be able to pull all this information about Abia State. I can say largest city. All right, you see a dot, the largest city, and then this is what I have. It brings me Aba South. That's the largest city in Abia. So I can do the same thing for all of the other states, right? Let me see if this field is incorrect because this is text, it's not a geography data type. So let me convert everything to geography data type. Okay, so geography, and now you have it. But I have one error. I mentioned to you when we started that there are times when this system is not able to recognize certain names correctly. I always have this error with Rivers State. The system just will not recognize Rivers State. And it says data selector, data type geography, no results found for Rivers State. I don't know why it always happens. So one workaround for this is just click on Rivers, okay, and then just put state behind it and to convert it immediately to a geography data type. Okay, so it's one of the experiences I've seen with Rivers State. Okay, you can see this is the largest city for all of these people, Zormi and all of that. So I don't know what's happening to Kano. It's not able to return the largest city for Kano. So, but that's not what I want. I want their population. So I'm going to do this dot population. All right, and then I'll just select that. So that's what I'm going to be using for my analysis. Okay, I could have just use this, like I can do that here. Let me convert this to geography data type. Okay, and then do Rivers State. Okay, you can see that, and I'll use this for their population. Their data will be their population. This dot population. Okay, that's that, and then yeah, that's just it. So you can see from 1 million to 50 million. Kano is the only one that's like 50 million, and then plots all of those populations for me. Of course, you can do all the formatting you want on this if you want, but I won't go into formatting right now because of time. All right, so I want to group this. I want to group them based on if they are below 5. What did I use at that time? I think it was 4 million. Let me see. Oh, I deleted the map. Okay, I think I want to do less than 2 million. Okay, I want to do 2 to 5 million. Okay, and I want to do 5 million plus. That's the ones above 5 million. All right, so that's how I'm going to group them. Yeah, this way. I'm going to group them this way. So let's quickly just use some formula to group that. So I'll say ifs. Ifs. All right. So ifs. If this is less than 2 million, okay, put less than 2M. All right. If this again, just copy that. If this is less than or equal to 5 million, all right. So what I want is to say 2 to 5M. All right, and then again, if this is above 5 million, then I'm just putting greater than 5M. All right, something like this. Okay. Yeah, something like this. And then I'll hit enter. And then I have the states grouped. You can see this is above 5 million, this between 5 and 2 million, this less than 2 million, and so on. So I have this. I can now plot this on a map to help me see the distribution of states within each of these categories. All right, so I have all of this. I'll just insert map, okay, and voila. I mean, I'm connected to good internet actually, so that's why it's coming so fast. All right, so really that's how you plot that kind of map. Okay, that's how you plot this kind of map actually. It's that straightforward. All right, like I mentioned, you can always change the title, population of Nigerian states. Okay, 2006. All right, so basically that's how you plot this kind of chart, and of course, you can add the chart data. Let's just put the names of the states, category name. I'm removing this other one. All right, so this is the chart data. All right, this is the map data. Okay, you can see it's a lot of data there. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow us to select the names from a what's it called now? From a from cells. All right, so you just have to live with the states and all of that listed inside it. But alternatively, you can always find your workaround. I will not go deep into that. But this to say to you, at a glance, you can see what state is what. You can see the states that are below 2 million. You can see the ones that are above 5 million, or your Lagos, this Delta. Of course, if I click on above 5 million, it filters the entire map for me. All right, so I can see, oh, this Borno, This is Zamfara. This is Katsina, Kano, and Kaduna. All right. Delta State, River State, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, and Oyo State. Those are the ones above 5 million. I want to see the ones that are below 2 million. All right. I have Bayelsa, I have Nasarawa, and I have FCT. And then the other ones are just somewhere in between. So that's how you can create this kind of categorization. Of course, this doesn't have to be population. It could be any kind of data that you're working with. This is just an example of that. So that's how you create groups. So in this section, you have learned how to create geography data type and use geography data type for analysis. All right. So you can see that. Okay. So let me just do the last one. Here, I'm going to be grouping this data by region. And at the end of the day, I want to be able to see the values for each of the region on the map directly, like this. Okay. I want to be able to see the values on the map directly on the map like this. Okay. I have Northwest region, Northeast, North Central, Southwest. I have South, I have Southeast states, and I have these numbers. I don't know what these values may mean. Number of delegates, if you are, if that will pacify us. All right. So I want to be able to put them on a map like this and group them for North Central, Northeast, and all of that. So I will not start from scratch again, but you will see that the arrangement of this data is similar to this other one. I have the names of the states that will be plotting the map itself. I have the groupings, and then I have these values that I use to create these groupings. All right. These values were used to create these groupings. And so the arrangement is the first column will be the names of the states, then the groups you want to use. All right. And that's how you create this kind of grouping. All right. And then lastly, the other one I want to do is also you have the names of the states. This is also a kind of grouping using the regions. Okay. And then I have these values in front of them. I will not try to recreate this from scratch. Okay, but I'll just show you. I will not create the data from scratch, but I'll just show you how to create that on the map. Now, the first thing I did was, okay, random values there. So I have this data. These are actual regions for each of these locations, these states in Nigeria. I'm not really interested in converting them to geography because Bing intelligently converts them implicitly to geography data types, and I have just put my regions and I have this data. But I want this data aggregated by region so I can show that on the map. So how do I do that? So I can just have the region and I have their values of total. Okay, so I'm going to do a sum ifs there. Sum ifs. Okay, so I'm going to be summing these numbers. All right. Oh, apologies. I need the regions first. So I'm going to create a unique list of the regions. Yeah, that solves it. So I have a unique list of the regions. Okay. I just use the unique function there. Unique list of the regions. And then I'm doing sum ifs. Okay, sum ifs, this range. Okay, what's the criteria range? The criteria range is this. And then my criteria. All right, so this is the criteria. Okay, so that's the total. All right, so I've just done sum this data by region. So the sum for Southeast, Northeast, South, North, Central. So these are the numbers and these are the values I'm going to be using for the map. It doesn't have to be shortened. I could have written this in full, Southeast, Northeast, and so on. But for the sake of simplicity, I have created them this way. So the next thing is to create my map. Okay, I highlight that and then right click, quick analysis, charts, more charts, maps. So that's just another way to do that. And then you can see it has given me straight up. It has grouped them based on these values that I have in front of them to group them implicitly into these groups. All right. So let me make that bigger. So that's how you do that. Now, I don't want this legend to be here. I want it to be directly on the map. This should show me I'm in South and Northwest. This should show me Northeast and so on. So I can take out this. Now, this is where it becomes really fun, and I need your attention. So how am I going to show northeast here and northwest, north central, southwest, all right, south, southeast, and northeast on the map this way? Okay, let me just say values. Could I even use the population data, right? Values by region. Okay, whatever the value is by region. So I'm going to I will do an overlay on this. Okay, so it's one of the tricks that you learn when you use Excel. I'm going to just overlay with a text box here. No, let me use text box. Insert shape text box. Okay, so I'll just put a text box here. I will not type anything in the text box. I'm not typing anything inside the text box. All right. I click on the text box, come to my formula bar equal to, and I say that's northwest, right? Click on northwest and I press enter. And then northwest appears here for me. Okay. So I can make it bigger. Okay. Just make it bigger that way. All right. So that's that. Then let's put it in the center. Let me leave the field. I'll take out the field later, but let me just leave it for now. So this is northwest. Let me place it so that then I can just duplicate that below it. I want the value, so I'm going to redirect the formula to the value of northwest, 2182, and that's it. Really, that's everything you need to know about that. Okay, so just make it bigger. Yeah, I think it's big enough. Okay, so just give it some cool formatting. That's northwest. I'm going to take out the white background, but basically that's how you do that. The other one, I'll just make copy of that, bring it here. All right, you know exactly what I'm going to do next. Direct this to northeast, and then direct this to the value for northeast. Okay, I'm making a copy of that. I'm just dragging Control and drag. All right, this one equal to north central, and then this one equal to the value for north central. Okay, let's make a copy of that to southwest. All right, equal to southwest. Okay, and then this also equals to the value from southwest. All right, let's do south. Okay, so I'll do south equal to south. All right, and this also equals to south. All right, southeast. It looks small, but by the time I take out the white background, you won't notice all of these things again. So equal to southeast, and then this also is the value for southeast. Now, one of the reasons I strongly recommend that you link the shapes to the data is because it will make it easy for you to use this in a live data. That means data that can change often. For instance, if I press F9 on my keyboard, all right, my system recalculates, and you see that the numbers have changed. This 1991, 2215, 23, 35. If I change it again, you can see that the numbers are changing, right? So that's why I strongly recommend, if you want to use this for live data, link the shapes to the data. But if it's just one single report, maybe it's in Microsoft Word or in PowerPoint, you can type in the boxes and just leave them there. But if it's going to be live data, I strongly recommend that you link them with using the formula bar. And lastly, I'll just take out the field, no field, no line, no field, and no line. And then let's say 12, bold. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's make it white. Yeah, white. Okay, so the other one is just to what remains just to fix the aesthetics, make them closer to each other. Okay, it is closer to each other. Of course, whoever sees this, we actually think it was some high-end application that I used in plotting this graph for your reports, whereas it's just the same Excel that you've been using for years. And of course, you don't have to stay with the default colors. You can always change the color to something like this. Kind of like, okay, I like this one too, and I like this one, it's bold. All right, so basically some of the reports that you've seen, those reports from wherever they are coming from, within big names of those companies, this is how they create most of those reports. So I think this is just it. So let me allow you guys to say your mind. So participants, you can unmute yourself and speak now. You can ask questions and so on. I'm happy to have your feedback right now. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to spend 40 minutes doing that and listen to your questions. So let me listen to your questions while I show you one of the ways I've used this in live data. All right, please, questions. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? Okay, Olukunle, please say something so that I will know you can hear me. Okay, Victor, please say something so I will know you can hear me. You guys can hear me. Okay, Oluwasanmi, please speak. You may please speak, Oluwasanmi. You raise your hand. Please speak.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you so much for this. First of all, I want to assure you that we could hear you. At least I can. Also, I missed the beginning part, so I wanted to ask. This is like a new Excel feature, right?
No. I think it's been in Excel. I'm trying to remember if it was in Excel version 2016, but it's not really new. I've been using this for data analysis for more than 3 years. So I won't say it's new. Yeah, I won't say it's new.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the video will be available. I recorded this, so the video will be available. I'll send a link to the video in the group. You'll be able to still see it and see the beginning part. All right, thanks a lot for that feedback. All right, do we have other guys in the house who would like to say something? Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand? Please, I need feedback. Okay, if Victor will not speak and Olukunle will not speak, okay, Timothy, or you may please speak. Timothy, please go ahead. You wanted to speak.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity and thank you for the presentation. At this moment, I would say it is understood for me, but I think a follow-up with the video will make it think properly. Thank you once again for this.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that feedback. So let me see. The live data I want to show you, I need to cover some things so that you don't. Sorry, let me just cover a couple of things so that, because it's not really my data, but it's something I feel you will find useful if you're going to be using this in a real world situation. Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me cover a couple of things so that I will not get a query tomorrow morning. Okay, so that's okay. Awesome. All right, that's covered. What else? Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, let me just. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So that I don't expose anything I'm not supposed to expose. So I'm going to be showing you now how I've been able to implement this type in a live environment. The environment I'm going to show you is actually connected to live data. And as people work in the field, they use a mobile app to send in their data to the server. And I connected this report. It's built in Excel to the data from the server. And all we do is just refresh the data, and then we'll see how we're able to use this in a live environment. And then it's actually an interactive report. I can see for a period what has happened, and all of that. And I hope that, this learning, you guys will be able to also use that for in your own implementation, not just a one-off, but in your own implementation. All right, so these are reports that comes in routinely. I won't tell you what the report does or where it's the source and all of that. So this is the report that we prepared, and then I'm able to do all of these calculations. All right, I have the reports coded with channels. I have some of these, what's it called now? Measures, some of these calculations up here. All right, I can see by channel in Nigeria or by region. I can see for a period. These are column charts, all right, separating by each of these regions. But this is what we're really interested in. I have a couple of other things there. So if I select all channels, okay, so it shows me that, okay, for Nigeria, for this period in April year to date, this is what has happened in Nigeria. This is the number of activities that have happened, all right? Okay, if I can select for a particular month, for April month, so this is what happened in the month of April, all right? And you can see the chart is updating immediately. You can see this, there is no data for this one, so they are blank. But for the ones that have data, you can see them showing there, all right? I can pick a particular region and say North Central, and then the data shows me only the data for that region, for North Central, okay? And I can also interact with it and say, okay, I only want for a particular channel. Oh, and then I can see what has happened only in that channel, all right, for this period, for that 1 month. Oh, what has happened in this channel year to date, for North Central, for this channel year to date. Okay, I can see this is what has happened year to date as of April. Okay, I want to see what has happened May year to date. Oh, in May, we added additional states in Niger State. 4 activities happened in Niger State, all right, year to date. All right, if I want to see what happened in this quarter only, that's the quarter we're in, the quarter that May is in. All right, May is in quarter 2, so I am able to see that, oh, this is what has happened in this quarter only. All right, if I go to say February, all right, the quarter in which February is, that January, February, March, is what happened. And I can also see in the month of February, oh, nothing happened. Okay, only one state. There's data for only one state in the month of February, and you can see it's just Benue State, 7 activities. So what the map did was excluded every other state and zoomed into just that one state. And I can see that, oh, in Benue State, this is what happened for that period, a quarter. This is what happened in that quarter, okay? And I can choose Southwest, okay? And I can see what has happened in Southwest. So this is how I have been able to implement this in a live situation that's connected to live data. And you can see data coming in and so on, and it's an interactive report. So I believe you should also be able to do the same thing with your data. Thank you so much, guys, for making our time to hear me blab a little bit. I hope you found it useful. Sorry. Yeah, I hope you guys found it useful. Any other question before and as I mentioned, okay, I promised at the beginning that I was going to show you what if I have live data and I only want, and I want to be able to show it so that it doesn't show all the states. I only want a few states to show, and it's also live data. How do you set that up? I'll just show you that briefly from using this, okay? So how do I set up live data? This is usually the approach I use. There might be other approaches, but this is the approach I like to use. So first, I will have all my states set up this way, okay? And then let's say I'll just generate some random numbers, random array, 37 rows, right? Okay, from let's say 10 to 100, okay, integers. Okay, that. So basically that's how you set up your data. But I want the map to only show me on the map all the states that are above, say, 40, all the states that are above 40. All right. So first thing, I'll use the filter option. Say filter the states. Okay. And I want, give me only all the states that are above 40. All right, filter option, give me only the states that are above 40. These are all the states that are above 40. And I can also look up their numbers. Sorry, look them up here and return this for me. Return this. Okay. So, sorry, because so everything is dynamic, so it's misbehaving. Okay, fine. So this is what I have. The reason it behaves that way is because everything is just dynamic, and sometimes Excel can have problem with data being too dynamic. All right. So I'll just leave it that way. So how do I plot this in a chart so that it will make sense to my map? If I try to do all of this and put zeros here, the zeros will also mess up my map. So usually this is how I do it. This is how I like to do it. So I'll select the entire region where the data is supposed to be, so that if this thing grows or shrinks, my map will still take it. For instance, so highlight all of that, insert map. Okay, I'm inserting the map, and then you can see what the map looks like. Okay, so you can see this is what the map looks like. So these are all the states that have values above 40. Okay, let me do data labels. So you can see 95 and all of that. So if I press F9 and I have new data, F9 again, sorry. Okay, so you can see the entire thing has expanded and my data is still covered. I've also highlighted these blank rows because there are no states with blank information, so they won't affect how this report comes out. But all the states that are missing, all right, you can see them. Let me make it smaller. Let me put all the ones that are, all the states that are above, say 60, so that I have fewer of them. All right, great. So you can see as the data shrinks, the map also shrinks with it. The map kind of quickly shrinks and shows new data. This is how I like to plot it. If you try to make the range, if you give it a dynamic range, as like some of us who have worked with dynamic range, you try to use a strict dynamic range where you create maybe a named range that is a dynamic range, it will fall apart, it won't really work, and you'll be getting some of those errors. So usually I'll just leave that space in the back end so that I can create this. If I press F9 again, sorry, because the spills are both spilling, so I just have to give them some time. All right, so that's really how it works. All right, so because the reason that is because this is a spilled range. I'm I'm connecting a speed range to a speed range to a speed range. That's why you see those spill errors coming up. But what I just wanted to establish is that, when you have your data that is dynamic, you saw the way I was interacting with that chart. As I was interacting with that dashboard the other time, this is what was happening in the back end. The map charts, the map range is static, but the data in it is pretty dynamic and goes up and down. All right, so that's how we create that. Do I have any question at this point so that before we stop? 6 minutes to 9. Any other question? I hope this has been very useful. All right, if I do not have any other feedback or question, I think this is a good time to call it a night, guys. Thank you so much for attending. Hopefully, I'll be able to do this some other time. Maybe often we'll have some webinars like this on Telegram, and then we'll have the community attend. But the video will be available, and then you'll be able to watch afterwards. Thank you so much for attending. I wish you all the best in your work. If you have any question after now, something came to your mind, you can always drop it in the chat in the group, and then we have more than enough guys in the house to attend to them. Thank you so much. Please do enjoy your night.